Hey everyone, and thanks for stopping by. In front of me I have the Avengers Endgame Iron Man Mk85 SH.Figuarts. This is a pretty sought after figure in this lineup, the S.H.Figuarts lineup, and I think he's pretty hard to get a hold of now for retail price. So I'm lucky enough to have one right in front of me. I haven't actually opened it yet, so I'm going to do a whole unboxing. But first, let's take a look at the packaging. So I do have all of them so far, but I'm going to do Iron Man first, and then I'll get to Captain America in later videos. But here is the packaging for Iron Man, which still uses the white sort of mint looking theme that of course Thanos had as well, which I actually did the unboxing for Thanos, with the Avengers blue logo, Endgame logo, the usual manufacturer's logo, and then a nice window display of the figure itself. It's kind of similar to the Mark 50, but not everything is the same or even similar. But we'll take a look at the figure momentarily. On the side then we have just text. On the back side we have photos of the figure. Figure looks pretty good. Well, the suit looks pretty good, but we'll see how the figure itself performs and how it is in hand. There's a hologram here on the side. Not every S.H.Figuarts has these. Most S.H.Figuarts should be having this Tamashii Nations hologram on them now in some place or another. Sometimes it's on the spine here, sometimes it's on the front. It really depends. But it's not be all or end all to guarantee that your figure is authentic, but it is a good starting point to look out for this little sticker. On the bottom, just usual contact information. So let's get this thing open. And here is the figure out of the box. Now, before I get into the figure and the parts itself, the box does have this one last little bit. So this is the reflective backing card that the Endgame figures seem to have, and it's a small thing that I just wanted to mention because I think it's a nice little touch. I didn't really notice it every time it's in the box itself, but it adds a good finish to the overall packaging and aesthetics of it. Anyway, onto the figure itself. So here's the figure standing right in front of you, and he looks pretty good. He's got a few different pair of hands that comes included, including the fists, of course, on the figure itself, and then he comes with some effect pieces. No stand, sadly. Iron Man figures should really come with stands because I think it benefits a lot from them. So going into these effect parts first. So let's go with the small ones. So these are just very similar to the other Iron Man figure effect parts. So if you've got an Iron Man figure from S.H.Figuarts in the past, then this is, well, shouldn't be very new to you. Maybe a different color from what you're used to, but otherwise pretty much the same thing. So this is a small blasting effect piece that has holes in the base that attach to the single pair of hands that allow it to be attached to. I'll show you that in just a moment. Then you get a longer pair again for the hands. These are a softish plastic, so they can bend a little bit. If yours come out of the packaging a little bit bent, then maybe just warm it up like so, and then try and straighten it out. It may still be a little bit curved, but that's okay. But these look pretty good. I like the blue hue on these ones. It's like a water aqua blue. Finally then he comes with a pair of blasting effect pieces, but these ones are for his feet. So you can see they have a peg. These are the only ones that have a peg, and then they just go onto the underside of the boots, which I will show you. Actually, these don't fit so great on my one, but they do still fit in a way. Just a bit loose. Then for his hands, first pair of hands are the ones that you use to apply the effect pieces to. So because this is a new suit, the hands are slightly different from the Mark 50 beforehand. The actual hand shape sculpt is the same, but the actual suit armor and details are different. So you can see the ribbing on the upper side of the knuckles, which I think looks really cool for this suit. It's not a plain anymore. And then you've got the each joint in the fingers shown too. Let me focus that in for you guys. There we go. And then on the other side, actually it's going to be like a silver palm piece, but you don't really see that on this one. But let me show you how to attach the short effect piece. So like I said, you just slide it on and that's it. These fit pretty decently. It's quite snug. Shouldn't come off too much or too easily. Unlike the foot ones do come off a little bit easily for me. That's it. Same thing for the other size and for the other other hand. Then he comes with karate chopping hands. Again with the details on the back side of the hand, and then here you can see the palm properly. So it's a silver central circle on the palm, and then a little bit of gold at the end of it. Same thing for the other one, oops, which is going to fall out. There we go. Then this one, I believe Mark 50 came with something like this, or the one before. So these are like gripping hands or loose gripping hands. Same detail again. These are quite cool. They're more casual, I think, to have his hands down by his side. Then his final pair of hands, so he comes with a decent amount of hands actually this time. One extra set of hands compared to Mark 50. These ones are a bit more flat compared to the ones I just showed you, but they still look good. Then onto the figure itself. So detail wise, this figure is super slick looking. Something about S.H.Figuarts where they nail it. They really nail the Iron Man figures, where they just look amazing. And I think if you are an Iron Man fan, then S.H.Figuarts are, you know, not the most affordable, but if you like quality figures in Iron Man, the Iron Man S.H.Figuarts are just a no-brainer for me. They're super good, and this is no different. Let's go into the quick details of the figure first before I go into the articulation. So there are some similarities of the Mark 85 armor compared to the Mark 50. I'll show you that side by side, but there are also quite a few differences. So let's just go for this figure for what it is first. And first up, his head. His head looks good. Helmet looks very good with the gold, red, and then the silver accents on them, which looks pretty damn good. His chest is super cool. I like the blue that's going on with his chest reactor. The Mark 50 wasn't as blue, it's a bit more of a washed out blue, or even grey, but this looks super nice. This is a bit bigger than the Mark 52, and then he's got like the chest reminds me of the bonnet on a car, like a sports car, which is kind of the angle that they usually go with regards to Iron Man armors. But this looks super good still, just like it. And I like this small little detail here, which gives it a bit of a toned sort of look, but not overdoing it too much. Again, with the silver accents, he's got this sort of ribbing here down towards his belly, which is pretty much standard for most Iron Man figures. And he's got this partition here, again also standard for most S.H.Figuarts Iron Man figures. His arms are pretty good. Overall, by the way, sorry, I should say, this is based on what, the model 4-ish of Iron Man costumes in the comics. I'm not that knowledgeable on Iron Man in general, but it's one of his earlier suits in the comic books where he had gold sleeves and then like the ribbed gauntlets and ribbed boots and stuff. So the color scheme is more based on that. And then he had a red looking vest type of thing, for lack of better terms. But overall, this looks very good. So again, the gold sleeves, silver accents, and then forearms look pretty good too, pretty solid. And then again, the fists, I can show you that too. Nice details everywhere on this guy. I think the silver accents really pop this figure alive. It just looks super good on his backside too. Very cool stuff. And then on the underside of his boots, which look decent too. So overall, the look of this figure is, honestly, I love it. I think it's a very good looking figure, and it's a great addition if you have the Iron Man figures from day one, or even if you're looking for your first Iron Man S.H.Figuarts figure, then this is a good place to start. Now, enough rambling on the details, let's go on to the articulation itself. So actually, articulation is very similar, if not the same, as the previous Iron Man figure, the Mark 50. So let's go with his head first, moving up all the way up, so he can go into very good flight poses. Then head down. Now on my one, the neck gets stuck a little bit right here, but you just pinch it in and then it comes all the way down. Then tilting left and right like so. It's a little bit stiff, but you can get there. And then you can look to either side as well. So he's got a good range of motion. Like I say, it just gets a bit stuck at the collarbone. Arms can lift up and go all the way around, and then they rotate in the socket too. Bring them up and around like so. You can drop them down a little bit to get them to lift up a bit higher. Then for his bicep, I usually miss this one on most Iron Man figures because I think it's a pretty like slick looking joint, so you can twist it there. Then for the elbow, looks pretty good. He's got a bit of he gets the cap, which is very normal for most Iron Man figures. Mine doesn't come off, touch wood. If it does, you can probably just slot it back in. Then for the fist, it's just on a ball joint. It does move up and down a little bit, but it's not on a hinge for this one. Then going down to his torso, he can crunch. So let me get it repositioned. So you can crunch like so before you get the back partition, the gap. This is normal for Iron Man figures, so don't worry too much about it. And then he can lean backwards. So if you want him to get into a good flying posture, like so, you can do that quite easily. Looks very good, and because of the design of the armor, it just looks super slick. Then he can tilt side to side, and then of course twist like so from the upper. from the lower. You can also do the lower twist there, and then the full crunch. Sorry. So it's all pretty good on that front. Then we'll move on to the legs. So the legs do use a drop down, so pull them down. Show you again. Pull them down, and then push them back up. Just gives him a little bit of extra range to kick up. Can't kick up a great deal anyway, and it's okay. It's not too bad. And then move him backwards, and then the splits like so. Now I feel like Iron Man figures you want to be a bit precious with in terms of paint and stuff, so try not to pull it too hard this way, because it's a good figure, you don't want to ruin it. You can twist right there. Same for the other leg. Certain figures, like say the Hulk, I have trouble with it. This one is a little bit stiff on that leg, but it does work. There you go. Better stiff than being ultra loose, and then it just isn't really functional. Then he's got his double knee, which I think bends a very good amount. It's perfect for me, and it looks decent as well. Bring it back again. He's got a similar kneecap that's happening with the elbow. Then for the ankle, it goes up, down. His feet are metal, so they're a bit heavier, and then the joint is a bit stiff on my one, but it's a good thing. Again, up, and then down, and then pivots that way. Then he's got the toe pivot, which isn't a huge amount, but it's okay. Again, let's show you with that one, with the other foot. So it's okay. So that pretty much covers all his articulation. So it is pretty much the same as the Iron Man before him, the Mark 50. Let's show you how to swap the hand. So you just pull off the hand, be gentle, don't want to snap the wrist. And then let's swap it with the effect hand. That's the wrong hand. Here we go, the right hand. And then line it up to the hole. It's a bit slippery, I find, Iron Man figures, because they're so smooth, and I think they use a little bit of lubricant because of the metal feet, so it can get a bit slippery at times. But there we go, that's how you put the hand on. And then let's attach the long piece to it, and there you go. Looks very cool. Super cool. For the feet, you just grab the effect part, and then you just plug it in to the hole on the underside. It looks okay, and I mean it looks fine, but I find it's a little bit loose, so you can kind of see on this one. I'll show you on this one as well, on the other foot. This is the loosest foot I've got, so I'm not really doing much with it, but I find it's a little bit too loose compared to other Iron Man figures, so it's a bit annoying when I'm always trying to pose him for flight poses. It's a minor annoyance, but still an annoyance. Overall though, this figure is super good. It looks great, and it's got great articulation, and he comes with plenty of good hands actually. Like I said, an extra set compared to the Mark 50. So if you didn't get a Mark 50 and you want an Iron Man, then this is a good option to try and get. I know it's sold out currently in most places, and it's very hard to come by, especially for retail price. So if you do find it for retail price, I wouldn't even think twice, just pick it up. It's a very good buy, I think. By the way, he's also got this cap here that you can take out, and then you can attach a stand to it if you've got a stand. So this was very similar to the Mark 50 as well, and I guess many other Iron Man figures too. I always overlook this bit because it's not that obvious, but yes, it's there. Let me bring out the Mark 50. By the way, this stands roughly 16 centimeters, same thing as the Mark 50 right here, which is not going to stand on its own right now, but as you can see, there are some similarities with the two figures and the two armors. Very minor in some cases, and quite a lot of changes in others, like say the thighs are completely different. But you know, I think it's a personal preference which one you prefer. You prefer this sort of look, a bit more red, or you prefer this with the gold sleeves and gold legs. I like both. I mean, I have both, so it's good too. Let me bring out Hulk, who's not going to fit without fiddling with the camera and probably falling over. So Hulk doesn't fit on the screen, but he's a giant. So here's Iron Man standing right next to Hulk, who's off the screen. And next to me I've also got the Infinity War Thanos from S.H.Figuarts, who's quite dusty looking, who also doesn't fit on the screen, but you can see that he's quite tiny in comparison. So overall, this figure is super good. I got mine from CD Japan, and I got two of these actually. So yeah, I got mine from CD Japan and one from Nippon Yasan. For retail price, I was quick to order these because I keep an eye on the Tamashi Japanese website, which tends to tell you when things are going to go live, and then third parties will end up going live usually the day before the official Japanese release date. Just a random fact for you, if you've got this far in the video, then now you know why I get my figures pretty like on time on release for retail price. But yeah, so I got mine for retail price from those retailers. For US folks or UK folks, you can try Amazon if you're lucky to get it. Big Bad Toy Store as well. Otherwise, unfortunately, you're gonna have to go to eBay and pay a bit of a fortune for him at this point. Just like the Mark 50, I don't know why they're not making enough of them. This is a general release figure too, so they should really reissue this pretty quickly, which they tend not to do until much later. Anyway, this is a solid figure. If you don't have it, sorry you guys couldn't get it if you did try to get it, or if it's just too expensive. But just know that this is a very good figure, and if you do have it, I hope you're enjoying it. And if you're leaving it in the box, just open it. It's a very good looking figure. Let me pose him a little bit better so he's looking directly at you. So yeah, it's a very good figure. I'm going to cover Captain America probably next from the Endgame S.H.Figuarts line, and then some of the other ones following that. Thank you for watching anyway. Do check out my channel for more videos on action figures and bits of other merchandise from gaming and comic book sort of niche. Thank you for watching. Stay safe wherever you are. Enjoy life wherever you are too. Peace out.